So let us show the truth tables of our 6 connectives. First, we have to fill in all possible truth values of P and Q. So either P is false and Q is false, either P is false and Q is true, or P is true and Q is false, or P is true and Q is true. We have 4 possible truth values for this pair of elementary statements, P and Q. So if P is false, then not P, the negation of P is true. If Q is false, the negation of Q is true. If, again here, if P is false, then true. If Q is true, then the negation of Q is false. If P is true, the negation of P is false. If Q is false, its negation is true. Again, in our last case, if P is true, then the negation of P is false. Q is true, then not Q is false. What about P and Q? P and Q is true only if the truth values of both P and Q are true. So only in this line, P and Q will have the truth value of true. If P is true and Q is false, then not both are true. Then their conjunction is false. Also, if Q is true and P is false, or if both are false. What about P and Q? P and Q, so this is P or, but P and Q, first let's say that P and Q is true only if both P and Q has truth value of true. P or Q is true, or let's say when it's false. It's false only if both P and Q are false. So P or Q will be false only here, in the first case. If P is false and Q is true, then P or Q gets a truth value of true, because one of them is true. Also in all the other cases. What about P implies Q? P implies Q is true only, or let's say when it's false, is false only if P is true and Q is false. It's like a promise. If I made a promise and did not keep it, then I lied. This is the rationale behind the implication sign. So P implies Q will be false only when P is true and Q is false. So here in the third line, it will be false. If I didn't promise anything, I should not keep any promise. So in both two cases, P implies Q gets truth value of true. And if I promised something and kept my promise, I also, I was saying my promise was true. What about P? With P implies Q and Q implies P. This is the meaning of this sign. It means that P and Q goes together. Either both are true or both are false. So F, if P and Q are both F, then P, if and only if Q has truth value of true. Also, if P and Q are identical, whenever they are identical, we get a truth value of true. If one of them is false and the other is true, then they are not identical. So the truth value of the bidirectional error will be false. What about P XOR Q? P XOR Q is like OR, but not AND. So if both are false, P XOR Q is false. If both are true, P XOR true are also false. But if one of them is false and the other is true, then P XOR Q is true.